The rear brakes on my VW Passat have been making a terrible scraping noise, so I'm going to replace the pads. In order to do that, we've got various steps we need to take. So the first one is to chock the car, putting some wood underneath the wheels to make sure it doesn't move, and we then need to take it, remove the handbrake and keep it in gear so that it doesn't move. The car's also on a slight slope, so I'm going to have it in first gear to make sure it doesn't move. We can then turn off the electric handbrake. What we're just going to do while the car's still on the ground is loosen the wheel nuts, which will make it easier once the car's in the air to remove the wheel. Pop the centre cap off with the screwdriver. I've now loosened all of the wheel bolts. What we can do now is jack the car up, make sure we secure it underneath with an axle stand, and then we can remove the wheel fully and have a look at what's going on. Okay, we now have the rear wheel off and we can actually see the caliper. One difference with the Passat compared to cars with a standard braking system is that it has an electronic handbrake, so rather than being cable operated, it's operated by an electric motor, and that motor is at the rear of the caliper and it all comes as one unit. What that means though is before we can actually do any maintenance on the caliper and the brake pads, we need to retract the electric motor. There are various ways to do this. Some of them don't require a computer, but the standard method that is recommended is either using some form of diagnostic software or something called VCDS or VAGCOM. So the one thing that you need to do before you take the caliper off is to do that retraction. Whether you're using VAGCOM or other software, it has a lead that plugs in under the dashboard. Okay, so the parking brake has now been retracted using VCDS. What we need is a 13mm and a 15mm spanner to be able to release the caliper from the carrier. The 15 is to go on the carrier bolt, and the 13 is at the end of the caliper that holds it in to the slider. So once we remove that, then we'll be able to get in and get the pads out. So I have the 15 in the centre and then the 13 on the edge. Between the two of them we can then just loosen the bolts that hold it to the carrier. Once the bolts are removed from holding it to the carrier, you can then just gradually ease out the caliper off the pads. The caliper is now free. Once the caliper is removed, you can then see what the pads are like. A fair amount of meat still on that one, so that's okay. So you can see on one side it's a lot more worn than the other. The next stage is to use a caliper rewind tool to be able to push the piston back into the caliper, and we can then fit the new pads. Just need to open the brake fluid reservoir. So I've used the caliper rewind tool to push the piston back in, and we can now put new pads in. So before putting the pads on, we've got brand new sliders to go in, and we have new bolts as well, so just go fit the new sliders. So just clip this in place. I'm just going to do the same on the upper one. So just slid one pad in, just go slide the other one in on the reverse. Okay, both pads are now in place, so just go put a little copper grease on the faces. You can see the new bolts here, we've got the thread lock on, so we're just going to fit those now, and then the caliper will be in place. The slider bolts have been tightened up, everything's now back together. The wheel is, the disc is spinning freely, because obviously we haven't clamped up the caliper with the brake pedal yet, but we're just going to do the other side before we get to that. So now we can put the wheel back on, and this side is complete. The wheel's now back on. All we need to do is reset the electronic handbrake using the VCDS software, so it goes back into position, and then the job's done. You can see quite how bad the inside pad was, and that really was right down to the metal. You can see that the rivets have been starting to rub against the brake disc, and on the outer edge it really is right down to the metal. There is none of the friction material left at all, whereas on the outside pad there's still a reasonable amount left.